Water wars, when politics leaves taps dry and hope drains away. Imagine waking up every morning not knowing if water will flow from your tap. For countless families across Trinidad and Tobago, this isn't a bad dream, it's their daily reality. While politicians trade accusations and boast of bold steps and transformation plans, ordinary people are left to queue for water trucks, protest in the streets, and watch their patience evaporate like water in the dry season. The human cost behind the headlines. It's easy to get lost in the political back and forth. Government ministers and opposition leaders hurl numbers and blame. 16% get 24-hour supply. No, wait, 27%, or maybe it was 61%. Each side claims the other is lying, manipulating data, or bullying officials to release favorable reports. Meanwhile, the only number that matters to most citizens is zero, the number of days this month they've had reliable water. Condemnation from every corner of the country, as annual promises of running water for all, has only served to run down the patience of citizens who continue to endure water shortage for weeks, months, and in the case of residents of Sereny Road Extension in Belmont, decades. The emotional toll is immense. Children go to school unwashed. The elderly ration their last buckets. Businesses falter. And all the while, politicians debate executive salaries and transformation plans, as if the crisis were an abstract game of chess rather than a matter of basic human dignity. Political theater or real reform? The recent government decision to scrap the previous administration's WASA transformation plan is framed as a bold move. But dig deeper, and you'll find more spin than substance. Critics argue that both the old and new plans focus more on management reshuffles and headline-grabbing cost savings than on fixing leaking pipes, modernizing infrastructure, or ensuring equitable water distribution. Allegations of geographic discrimination in water supply, where some regions are favored over others, fuel public anger and deepen political divides. Accusations fly. One side claims to have a report proving bias under the previous government, the other calls it a lie and points to isolated success stories. In the crossfire, the real issue, thousands still without water, remains unresolved. Misinformation, manipulation, and missed opportunities. The debate is riddled with bad logic and bias. Ministers promise to release reports that will vindicate their party, while dismissing opposing data as fabrications. Both sides cherry-pick statistics and focus on discrediting each other rather than collaborating on solutions. The public, meanwhile, is left to wonder whose numbers to trust, and whether any plan will truly deliver water for all. Calls for transparency, community engagement, and professional management are drowned out by political noise. When citizens try to voice concerns, they're accused of incitement or being pawns in the opposition's game. The cycle of blame and deflection only deepens mistrust. A plea for accountability and water. Behind every statistic is a family, a child, a community desperate for relief. The endless political wrangling over WASA's future is more than an academic debate, it's a matter of survival. The people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve more than empty promises and partisan point scoring. They deserve leaders who put country before party, who listen, and who act with urgency and compassion. Let's remember, water is life. Every day that the taps run dry is a day of lost hope, hardship, and injustice. It's time for those in power to stop the blame game, cut through the misinformation, and deliver on the most basic promise of all, a reliable, clean water supply for every citizen. Until then, the tears of a thirsty nation will speak louder than any politician ever could. The article in question reveals a troubling and unmistakable bias in favor of the current administration's decision to dismantle the previous government's WASA transformation plan. It cloaks this move in glowing terms like bold, strong, and appropriate, echoing the present leadership's narrative almost word for word. Rather than providing a balanced analysis, it praises the government's action as a heroic step forward while portraying the previous plan as little more than a costly failure driven by incompetence and corruption. What is particularly unsettling is the article's dismissive tone toward the professionals and executives who served under the former administration. Referring to them as so-called WASA professionals is not only disparaging, it erodes public respect for technocrats and specialists who, despite working within a politicized system, may have been sincerely committed to improving the nation's water infrastructure. These individuals were not just placeholders. They were part of documented efforts to upgrade infrastructure and optimize the network, as reflected in official reports that the article conveniently ignores. The manipulation of statistics further deepens the sense of bias. The stark contrast between the former minister's reported 61% water supply coverage and the new administration's figure of 27% is presented without critical scrutiny or context. Rather than seeking to understand this discrepancy or even questioning the reliability of either dataset, the article frames the earlier figure as misleading, effectively casting the former minister as dishonest and the current administration as a savior of truth. This is not journalism, it's propaganda cloaked in selective reporting. What's more, the piece uses emotionally charged phrases like rebuilding trust and delivering water justice to flatter the new government, implying that it alone holds the moral high ground. But where is the fair assessment of the challenges that both administrations faced? Where is the acknowledgement that structural reform in an institution as complex and burdened as WASA requires continuity, not just change? By selectively highlighting failures of the past and successes of the present, the article fails its most sacred duty to inform the public with honesty, depth, and balance. Instead, it reads like a campaign speech masquerading as objective commentary. In a country where access to water is a daily hardship for thousands, we cannot afford media narratives that distort facts to fit political loyalties. People are not pawns in a power struggle, they are citizens who deserve to know the full story. They deserve more than sound bites and spin, they deserve truth, however inconvenient. Let us be clear, holding previous governments accountable is essential, but so is acknowledging their genuine contributions and lessons learned. If we are to ever achieve true water security and public trust, our conversations must rise above partisan echo chambers and commit to the hard work of truth-telling, wherever it may lead.
The Public Utilities Minister is threatening to release a report that allegedly reveals geographic discrimination in water distribution under the previous administration.
The guy that came from Ghana, I had an opportunity to meet him. He come from where and he are talking about water. We'll never see water in his village.
Through him, we talk about it, how we get this problem with water. He said, who is the minister? Send up a lot of letters and whatever and whatever. And I thank the villagers for supporting him and the minister for what we raised today. And I want to thank God.
This project means 300 very happy persons, families who have been in a struggle for water supply in their home for decades. And it shows me as a representative what it means to see the people behind the letters and the advocacy and all of the things that we try to do as representatives.
They are saying that we'll never see water until cock have teeth. And I want to say that is not a true thing. That is a lie, because today we see water.